Ugh. I got a few notes I want to go over. I don't know how webcams work. Not that many. Just a couple. Just a few things here and there. Oh yeah, I gotta go to the comments. Things in the comments are different than what they were in the video. I did rewatch this. This is my third time. I'm not gonna watch all of it, but I watched it twice. And it's Monday. But I was under the impression, they say in the video, I don't know where, I didn't write it down because I was gonna say it at the beginning, that, you know, these guys are cunts for uploading this video and just for doing it on stream, just like it is a base level line of where they're at on the people's chart. They're cunts because yeah, none of this needed to be done or said or talked about, period. I don't think so. They say they wanted to discuss things and explain, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you just listen to Blue versus Choice. And that's a weird way to put it. They're just talking. Not the best conversation, but there's not a lot of hidden subtext, I don't think. We'll go over it. At least some of it. But yeah, I was under the impression that they didn't want this video uploaded. That's why Blue deleted it from Twitch and, you know, didn't upload it himself. And I assume Choice wouldn't want it uploaded to YouTube either, because it's, you know, drama bullshit. Right here in this comment, I found it. Right here, he says they both talked to Blue and Choice before uploading this video. Both of them were aware of the intent behind it. I don't know. We have to take his word for it. But I don't know. It's a weird thing to say. I'm pretty sure they say in the video that, like specifically that Choice doesn't want this public or whatever. Something along those lines. I'm definitely positive. I don't know if I wrote it down. We're just going to have to go over the notes, but we're going to start at 3:38.
Neither. And just to preface all this, guys, the intention here isn't to BM neither Blue nor Choice. It's just strictly to discuss and kind of break down the observations, because I feel like there's some subtext that's not obvious from both sides. And I get it, you know, they're speaking from their own personal perspectives, but we're not biased sources because doesn't really involve us.
Okay, let's stop right there. We're not biased sources. I did a real simple Google search on the definition of bias. Bias refers to the predisposition or inclination, either conscious or unconscious, towards a particular belief, idea, or thing. Implicit bias refers to the unconscious association and attitudes that people hold about different social groups, which can influence their judgments and behaviors. And, well, I believe they are implicit biased. Like, they can't control not being biased. He says in the comments that he's friends with both of them. Plus, they're also part of the Twitch community and the BDO community. And they're also friends with this lady right here, Janai. So there's no way he can be unbiased. That's just not a realistic stance that you can take in this situation. Therefore, he's disingenuous. Or he could be stupid. That's also a possibility. All right, now we got to go to 4:21, and we'll just hear what he said. I wrote down what they said, but I'll let the video play itself. I just needed to think on my opinions on it. So we'll play this.
Subtext is when we have, you know, two groups of people talking, or I'm talking to you, but I mean something different than what I'm actually saying because there's an underlying factor, right? It's like, you know, when two friends talk, sometimes they say things without saying things to each other, if that makes sense. And that's no different than content creators as well. There's subtext involved. So Blue is trying to tackle something by removing the subtext from the situation, but he also adds his own subtext. And so does Choice, but we'll listen to it together.
Sorry, I mean, I paused a little earlier there. I don't know how you can remove subtext from something that you're saying, because the only way you can create subtext is by talking. So maybe he changed subtext, but you can't remove subtext. That, I digress, is really a pointless talking point. It's just this is not how you would say that. Also, let's see. Looked up the definition of subtext again. It's under subtext, an underlying and often distinct theme in a place of writing or conversation, meaning that while not explicitly stated, is understood by the audience. So he's pretty right about subtext, except for friends saying things when they're not saying things. I think that would constitute as code. I could be wrong though. Again, that's a weak point, but it's just one more thing on top of like him trying to describe things in a way that are inherently biased or unfair towards people. It's just another example of that.
Carry on.
Wait, I don't need to unpause. I need to go to 521.
We can agree that you are correct in saying that AFK dropping is not a very moral or good activity, and most of the time AFK dropping does hurt people in the actual community and in the Twitch community.
Yeah.
And I think that the main thing here that we had, like, that the reason why she's wanting to report you is a lot of the things that you're saying that stepped beyond what we can agree with is immoral, and that is saying that, hey, you're not supposed to AFK drop. I think that we...
Okay, that pretty much covers it. He agrees that it's bad. She was doing it. I seen the video where I'm pretty sure in Blue's video, he was showing her AFK with the drop rate on. So she definitely 100% did it. And then he admits that it's bad. Will his tune change on that later? We'll see.
You read my mind because you paused right when I was going to ask you to pause. This is a logical leap on Blue's part. He's making an assumption based off of his own contract. So he has a contract with a company. The company says, hey, this is what we want to see out of the agreement. Typically they'll have some metrics that they're required to hit, or they'll have some deliverables, or they'll have some prerequisites, right? The assumption that Blue is making is that the prerequisites for his contract is the same as Janai's, and that may not be exclusively true because he has to look at Janai's contract to know that for certainty. What he can say is, and he can say accurately.
Okay, I just wanted to point out that he does say right here that it is a logical leap based on his experience for him to assume that the contracts were similar. We gotta go to 930. I just think this part's funny.
Engage in certain behaviors and can't be seen, for example, held to a higher standard
I think it's
than the
funny.
average player, right? An ambassador for Perlibus, for example, can't say certain things and can't engage in certain behaviors and can't be seen engaging in certain behaviors, just like a partner can't be engaging in certain behaviors. Now, does PA control what we say and do? No, they don't.
What do you mean, no, they don't? Yes, they do. You just said they did. You literally just said there's things they say that you can't say. Do they control what you say? Yes, yes. That would be a yes. Now, it's probably bad stuff that you shouldn't say, but they're still just telling you you can't say it. AKA control of what you say. Oh, how are you even going to say that? It doesn't... What are you talking about? I just thought that was hilarious. I don't know why he said that. What for? Oh, man. Okay. Oh, the next one. The next one's good. Okay, let's go to 1223. Oh, no, hold on. We got to go 1136 first.
Contract. She did get approval from Advance to be with Holy at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so you were saying stuff like, oh, she should lose her sponsorships over this. And that's the type of thing where you're now attacking her money.
He's experienced this himself, right? As a content creator, when you make a statement like that, that sounds definitive, it's dangerous because you're now putting out into the ether that this person has done something that violates a policy, and it makes them look bad.
You mean the claim where she should lose her sponsorship because in his eyes she was breaking the rules for it, the contract for it?
Right. She broke his contract rules, not her contract. So that in my opinion, that's libel. Yeah.
All right. Hold on now. That's liable. Now, I think he meant slander because libel is written and slander is spoken. Common mistake made by stupid people. And he's saying that that's slander just because he's saying that she broke her contract based on a logical leap that he made from his contract with the same company. I don't think that would qualify as slander. As how would you prove damages for that? Just a side note, I just think that that's a little ridiculous. And there's a little more, so let's go. Let's play more.
Yeah, it's straight up libel.
Yeah.
It may not be his intention, but that is libel.
Like, you're attacking her livelihood there by saying, hey, this is not allowed. What if your viewers, what if you're using your influence to go and contact these companies, and these companies already know this, and now you're creating drama for her, and now she's a brand risk, and now they're like, oh, maybe we don't want to work with her, despite the fact that you were working, that she was already working with these companies to say, hey, this is something that she was allowed to do, and she was.
All right, it's
So,
a fair
you know,
statement to
that thing-
say I was attacking her
Right,
money.
So he's conceding he wasn't going after her money, saying like, take away your sponsorship, and he's agreeing that the contract was different based on what Choice is telling him right now, right? So that's a point to Choice, I would assume. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and think that's a good move on his part to look at that and be like, hey, you know what, I was wrong, but it shouldn't have taken, in my opinion, it should not have taken Choice coming on the stream to tell him that.
Why? Why should it have not taken Choice coming on the stream to tell him that? By the way, we all have to just believe Choice that he's telling the truth, which I am not going to do. Again, I'm not saying he's lying. I just choose not to believe him because I don't know. Information I don't have. I haven't seen the contracts. I don't know. I assume he's telling the truth, but I can't accept it as fact. That's a good way to put it. He says Choice, it shouldn't have taken Choice to come on stream and explain him to that, for him to understand that that was wrong. But at 6:43,
This is a logical leap on Blue's part.
boom. It's a logical leap, but he should have known beforehand. Like, which way is it? You can't get mad at somebody for you're being a hypocrite is what you're doing. Again, just another example of you being a hypocrite, like I said. And now we'll go to 14:05. Okay. I think I'll have to actually go back a little further here.
We know that Blue.
Sorry, I fucking stopped paying attention. This fucking video, man.
For him to concede that point, that's something that you as a content creator should have the ability to determine right from wrong in terms of what is logical and what is not.
What does that even mean? As a content creator, you should have the ability to determine what is right or wrong with a logical leap. Is that what he said?
Right. It shouldn't have taken, in my opinion, it should not have taken Choice coming on the stream to tell him that. For him to concede that point, that's something that you as a content creator should have the ability to determine right from wrong in terms of what is logical and what is not, right?
What is logical and what is not. You should be able to determine right from wrong from what is logical and what is not. What does that even mean? Is that I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm stupid, but I don't know what that means. I have no idea whatsoever. I don't know. I just don't know what he's trying to say or convey. We'll continue a little bit, see if he explains it.
And again, he's experienced that himself, so I know he knows that, but I get it. You know, you're in front of, sometimes you're like thinking with your emotions more than your logical center.
Would you consider that witch hunting if he is telling people on his stream she should lose her sponsorship because of XYZ?
So this is
Based
where
on
it gets a
his
little,
experience?
yeah, I mean, that's a fair question. This is a little bit sticky, right? Because we know that Blue does not like some of the things that Janai does. He doesn't like specific practices. I can't say definitively if Blue doesn't like Janai.
Now, I'm going to take a logical leap, which is sometimes okay and sometimes not okay, according to Hunt here, and say that Blue does not like Janai. He thinks she tried to get him banned, or she did try to get him banned. She did AFK drop stream. I don't think he likes her. Why would he? What has she done to be a liked person by him? Now we're going to 20:30.
We're like, well, that's not a violation. That's why there is an objective hard stop.
That is true, but if you listen later into this conversation, just the drama itself creates some type of stuff.
Janai, we're just trying to see Janai in the chat. Hey, Janai, how you doing? We're trying to objectively understand and discuss the situation to kind of like remove some of the ambiguity from the way the conversation was held. And
All right. Two things, objectively. Let's just take a look at the definition of objective. To be unbiased and detached, judging situations based on facts and evidence rather than personal feelings, opinions, or bias. Wow, he's not being objective. There's proof. There's proof in the comments. We've already established that he's biased inherently, you know, not to his own fault, but he is. So he can't be objective. Also, you have to base it on facts and evidence, which he has no facts or evidence because Blue or Choice did not provide any in any context or situation. We have only their word to go on. So they cannot be objective. That's not possible in this situation. What was the second thing? I had too much fun right there. There was two things. Let's go back.
hey John, how you doing? We're trying to objectively understand and discuss the situation to kind of like remove some of the ambiguity.
Yeah, remove some of the ambiguity. Again, how can you do that? You don't have anything except for what they said. And all the other anybody who watches this is going to have the same information you have. And they can only make logical jumps, which are bad when they're not the right logical jumps or your logical jumps, and personal opinions, you know, on just, you know, their bias as well. Conscious or subconscious, it doesn't matter. It's always there, lurking in the background, waiting for you. Okay, I just wanted to say that. And she joined the chat. I don't think she was happy that they were doing this either. Again, Blue and Choice said that they were fine with it. Maybe it's because it was already a live stream and you could probably watch it on Twitch. They're like, whatever, upload the video. Who knows? You know, I think they both probably didn't care if this is true. They didn't care because they both think that they had the upper hand on the other. Ooh, yeah, this is good. This is good. What do I have 4 at? Oh, 4 is objective. Yeah, because they're not being objective.
But let's continue on.
Can we watch more than a minute? I'm sorry. These are like context matters, guys. Context matters.
I just want to be clear. I did take down based on your advice. You said you didn't think I had a right to make a tier list. You thought like nobody should make a tier list right now. I took down the video because you said that. Okay, but I will say that the like ratio on the video was like 95, 97.
Okay, so this topic here is about the tier list. I don't think anyone really cares about it. Basically, Blue Squadron made a tier list for what's good for like classes, and
Well,
Choice made a comment saying it was kind of like inaccurate and it wasn't very good.
Well, he put Warriors in
And
A tier
it's doing
grinders,
pretty
so
down.
he put both Succession and Warriors in A tier grinders, so legit and deserved. Legit and deserved, man.
But what are his credentials to do this? You know, is he some like god tier grinder, or is he just hearing from word of mouth? You know, or looking at Garmin.com?
I feel like Blue
need
has a
experience
pulse on
for
his
this stuff.
community. He does have a pulse on his community, but like there are some classes that are genuinely underrepresented. And like, for example, you play a Valk, right? Succession Valk is one that I
Yes.
feel like is a really bad grinder. I think they're worse off than
There
I think they're
is
probably worse.
one person on Garmin.com who's logged 3 hours on Suck Valk, and he claims to make 50,000 at DSR with 2 tides.
Yeah, but don't you put your own information into Garmont.com?
I don't do it naturally, but like,
What I'm saying is like don't you just input your, you know what I mean? Like can't you just put in whatever you want?
Yes, you can do your own thing. Like you can lie, you can do whatever. And I'm telling you, people aren't making that in Valk. Like that's not the norm.
You think-
It's
you
terrible.
think people would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Like I love that class, and I can't play that class. Like that's where I'm at right now. It's miserable, right? So that's that. But I mean, look, you can have an opinion all you want. I can talk about classes I don't give a shit about, and that's my opinion, right? But I feel like, and I think Choice will bring it up way later into this conversation about the integrity of YouTubing, is that Choice is a much more reserved person when it
What? So your opinions are valid, and you're allowed to have opinions, But if you make a YouTube video that has an opinion, and it's about BDO, and then someone else has an opinion, what the fuck is he saying? The Blue can't make the video because it's his opinion and not facts? I don't know. We'll continue on.
Comes to content creation, where he would only put out information that he feels is adequately studied and like understood, for the most part, right? And on the other hand, we have Blue, who, and I'm not saying like any negative, but he pumps content, like boom, 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 boom. I don't think he has the same
It's almost like it's his job.
level of research as Choice would, and that's why Choice is making a comment saying his tier list.
You're making a leap there, an assumption, and I would say not even a logical one. So, why are you guys so mad at Blue for doing it?
Wasn't adequately researched.
I think
And it
what
was
you're
not good.
a different way of what you're trying to say is that Choice's content is more curated, whereas Blue's content's more hipfire.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just take a look at this. Let's look at the definition of curated. Selected, organized, and presented using professional or expert knowledge. So they're basically saying Blue's not professional. He's not an expert. He didn't select the videos that he uploaded, which is, I guess. He didn't organize them or present, he didn't edit them in any sort of way. He didn't decide not to do some stuff, to cut stuff out. That's what they're saying. So it's just wildly inaccurate. They don't know the definition of curated. Google is good, before you take a strong stance on something, just Google it. Just Google it, and maybe you'll be like, oops, wait, I had it backwards, You don't even have to admit you're wrong. You just be like, oh, it was twisted in my brain. No one has to know. But then you come on here and you just say it, and it's fucking stupid. Oh, also, they're objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
I
accurate.
get it. He's a content creator. He pumps content. He gets the views. He gets the clicks. He gets, it's money, right? It's his job. I understand it. Like personally, that's why I wouldn't want to be a content creator for that purpose, because I feel like it wouldn't match my standards of.
It would match my standards, as well beyond my standards. Just look at my videos. Actually, don't. Please don't. They're so bad. I don't care. Actually, look at them. Yeah, I could use the views. Fuck it. Watch them. Watch them all. Maybe I'm mute, but you can do it. Just have it on in the background. At 0.5 speed, please. Thank you.
Do not say that she attacked everyone else in the category's money by AFK drop streaming the category. Furthermore, she...
So positive. So basically what he's saying is that he 100% singled her out and targeted her income, right? And then he rebutted saying, would you also say that Janae did the same thing, just a little indirectly? By doing what she's doing, she's affecting potential other players. That's what he's saying right there. And I don't think directly doing it versus indirectly doing it like this is exactly the same. Both are bad. Don't get me wrong, but he's trying to make it sound like they're both equal things.
Yeah, but
I don't think
it's a
they're
logical
equal
leap, no
things.
matter how you cut it, man. He has made a logical leap. In this regard, right here, these are two separate instances.
Like her succeeding in AFK fishing negatively impacts everyone else in the category. That is a fact, right? And him like singling her out and trying to focus and make her lose sponsorships is a much more direct approach towards someone's livelihood.
I do wonder a little bit about that, though. I have not seen her do that in a while. Now, granted, I don't watch everyone else's content constantly, but
Which
that's
one,
not
AFK
something.
fishing?
Yeah, I haven't
Drops
seen
thing?
Janae do that in months, unless I'm wrong.
No, it was talked about, and they agreed that they wouldn't do it anymore after those.
Right, and I think that's
3
I
days.
think that's like a responsible, logical discussion to have, and she's made in my opinion, a logical decision, and she's followed through on that. Right, we haven't seen her do
It's
that.
been 3 months now, I think. Yeah.
Right, so that's follow through.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, she obviously attacked my money by trying to get me mass reported on Twitch, which is blatantly against Twitch TOS. She's going after my money in a big way.
So yeah, that's definitely a direct attack towards his livelihood, right? So
That is, yeah.
She did one to
it's a
her,
fair
she's doing one
comment.
to him, and I think that's wrong too on both ends. Her weaponizing her chat to do it, and him weaponizing his chat to do the same thing. They're both in the wrong.
Right.
my
You know,
opinion.
chat's not a personal army. Don't mean it can be, I suppose, but it shouldn't be. Not for a content creator. But
doing that, but
Not,
Go ahead.
not for a content creator. But so for who? Just curious. Leave that. I would like to know who is it okay for.
I was going to say that. Yeah, obviously that was a wrong. But from what it sounded like,
He means Trump. Definitely, he means Trump. Who else could it be? Boom.
results-wise, they've both come to an agreement that won't happen. Mistakes do happen. Like, people get pissed off, right? If somebody's talking trash about you and your content, you might feel some kind of way and then do something negative towards the other player, right? So,
Yeah,
or
it's
towards the other creator.
Would you say that she did it in self-defense, or would you not excuse that as self-defense at that point?
It's not self-defense.
Retaliatory. I wouldn't say
Self-defense
retaliatory.
is that's retaliation. There's a difference between retaliating and self-defense. Self-defense is, no, you can't say that because it's not fair because of X, Y, and Z reason. Retaliation is like, oh, go take this guy out and because both of these guys are full-time content creators.
Yeah. Okay, so it's retaliatory. Both are in the wrong for doing it. All right, let's continue.
also, again, would you not assume that if she's AFK drop streaming on the top of the category, which you know is a very controversial thing, do you think that these brands, if they knew what was actually happening, do you think that these brands actually want to be associated with some?
Okay, he's talking about the whole brand thing. I do have a side note here. Yeah, I do have a side note. They're talking about the whole contract thing. I think we've established that he said he was wrong and he shouldn't have done it. They're still talking about it. But I do think it is very weird that a drink company would sponsor someone and then also let them have another competing drink brand, Like, you could have a Budweiser sponsorship and a Pepsi sponsorship, but you couldn't have a Pepsi and a Coke sponsorship. Like, I don't think that either of those companies would be okay with that. So it is weird. Again, small companies just trying to get out there. Who knows? I don't know. It just does seem quite weird. Okay, let's continue on. We need to go to... Oh, yeah, this part coming up. Okay, we'll just continue on because we're almost there.
That is making the community this angry. I would be willing to bet that Advances and Holy's actual brand reputation in the category actually declined because she took their sponsorship and then used it at the top of the category AFK drop streaming the way that nobody wanted her to do this. And again, she hurt everyone else too. So you are 100% correct. I did attack her and the money, and that was wrong. But I was...
What?
This to me is like, again, he's connecting two disconnected dots, saying that
He's connected two disconnected dots. I wrote that down. I don't know what that means. How else are you supposed to connect two things? Like, I still got the vision like a line between two dots. You do draw a line between two dots to have a better understanding of something, how they're related. Like, I just, of course they're unconnected. You have to draw the line first. Wait, what are you saying? What does that mean? What are you talking about? What? Yeah, of course you drew a line between two dots. This is how you do it. There is no other way. I guess you could put them in a circle. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Again, let's see if he explains.
two brands are going to have a stake because of her AFK stream, but she stopped doing that. So, like, how are you? And that was based on a conversation they had. So I don't understand why he's still holding that against her, I guess.
And now he doesn't understand why Blue is still holding her AFK drop streaming against her. Let me tell you a secret about how life works and people, just in general. Not always, but in general. I would say through my lived experience. Strangers only know you as the worst thing you've ever done. Okay? So if you murder somebody, everyone who saw your picture on the news and heard about the trial, you're a murderer. That's how it is. Your friends and family are going to be like, no, he's more than that. But to me, a complete stranger, you're a murderer. I assume that Janae and Blue don't really talk a lot. They're probably not friends, especially now. He has no reason not to hold it against her. He only knows her as the worst thing that she's done. That's how it works. I know, people are awful. Again, there's no such thing as good people. Let's continue on.
If it's been demonstrated that that has stopped, right? Why now are you attacking the brands? This is...
Again, I brought up Trump earlier. Is this Zeroden Hunter saying that Nazis are cool because they don't kill Jews anymore? I know that's being hyperbolic, but, you know, you could see how I can make such a logical leap by connecting two unconnected dots. Or connecting two dots that are not connected. What the fuck did he say? Again, I'm not saying that about him.
This is where, again, we had this conversation earlier. I felt like we were talking about what is a witch hunt. This is where I feel like Blue is starting to cross a line a little bit, right? This does feel a little witch hunty, right? Before him arguing about AFK streams, I've seen him do that a lot. I feel like that's very consistent with his views. But it's clear to me when through this line of attack, it is clear to me that he has an issue with Jedi.
Okay. So now he's finally discovered that Blue doesn't like Jenna.
Again, it's been already agreed, right, by both Choice and Blue that AFK drops are bad and she won't do it again. Like, you hear Choice say those two lines over and over again in this entire VOD, but it's been agreed those two things are bad and it won't happen again.
Right, and what I'm saying is, like, if that's agreed on, yeah, exactly. If it's been agreed on that it's bad, one person has...
The reason it keeps getting brought up is because it's really the only thing Blue's arguing about is the AFK drop streams. That's really all he cares. He cares about the AFK drop streams. She was doing it. Choice was fishing right next to her while she was doing it. He's saying, hey, don't you think this makes you look bad? They keep saying that he's bringing it back up, but he never stops really talking about it, except for with the tier list, and then obviously the contract talk, which he admitted he was wrong, and he apologized for it. But that's why, because that's the only argument. That's why he keeps bringing it up, because that's the only thing he cares about. It started the whole thing. That's the root cause of everything. Oh, then I talk about botting her stream and whatnot as well. So, again, I don't know if I'm going to cover that either. I don't think I wrote any notes for it, because there's no proof. Apparently, she's just racist instead. All right, we're going to jump ahead to 3740. Oh yeah, this one's good. This is Choice.
Don't know all the things that you said about her. You said a lot of stuff.
This is Choice.
Oh, okay, there it is. Let's see it now.
It's
Okay,
done.
got it.
It's already done. Already said.
Further about what led to that. You know, you're saying that you did nothing wrong in speaking about her, but the people in the chat don't know all the things that you said about her. You said a lot of stuff. You said enough that ultimately, in my opinion, I have no idea. You were making assumptions that I reported you. I did not report you.
I wrote it down. Okay. Blue said things about Jenna off stream. Then in his opinion, he has no idea. And then he jumps right into defending himself from reporting Blue. What? He didn't even finish his thought. That makes Choice look real bad. It's the first time in the video where I was like, wow, Choice, what the hell is he trying to do? Oh no, maybe a second time. I think the second time. I think earlier he says something kind of dumb. Okay, yeah, this one's nice too. This one's good.
Choice is alluding to subtext that was not done on stream that Choice is aware of. So just so we're clear, he's expressing an idea that's very...
No. Just at 3740, 10 seconds ago, Choice says, and I quote, I have no idea.
You know, you're saying that you did nothing wrong in speaking about her, but the people in the chat don't know all the things that you said about her. You said a lot of stuff. You said enough that ultimately, in my opinion, I have no idea what happened and as to why you got your week ban. And I think that...
Yeah, so this is, again, attacking subtext. So Blue is saying, is this fair? And he's right to point that out because it wouldn't be fair. but also
What is attacking subtext, and how did he use it there? I'm pretty sure he explicitly stated, hey, she was live streaming and telling her chat to go attack me. I don't know what the subtext of that's attacking her, because I feel like the actual text, the stuff he said, was not so much attacking her, but just saying, hey, she did this. I haven't seen her streams. I don't watch her streams. I don't know if there's proof of her actually doing that. I'm not going to go into an investigation. But again, we're just taking every word for word because there's no facts or evidence in this video that's very objective and not biased at all.
what Blue has done to her is also not fair. These guys went eye for an eye with each other. And in my opinion, to be upset about the results of an eye for an eye are pretty insane.
Okay. So now Hunter totally confirms that she actually did it, right? They both did it, although I don't think Blue explicitly attacked her with his chat. Like, he didn't tell his chat to go do anything. He didn't say anything like that. But she did. And that's an eye for an eye. And then to hold it against somebody is insane. But not really. Not even in the slightest is it insane. If you have beef with somebody and you fight them and you lose, you're still going to be upset about it. You're going to be like, oh man, not only do I think that person is wrong, but he kicked my ass. If we could just take a logical leap, then this next part is interesting coming up. What Choice says.
Where is that stated in Twitch TOS? Partners are hateful toward each other all the time. We see this. I mean, you see this with the big creators.
So I was actually looking this up around the time because I was very curious as to why it is that you even got banned. And there is a subsection.
Why would he be so curious?
Under hate speech somewhere, like you have to open an extra menu, and it had something about talking negatively about another person and then directly opening their Twitch page.
Hey, Chuka.
All right, that seems crazy. Instead of like, hey, this person did this thing, and then opens their page to prove they're doing that thing, which is frowned upon. I looked in, I Googled specifically the Twitch TOS about harassment. I didn't find this clause, but I only looked at one that was from like 2020, I think. I didn't do a lot of research. I just looked and seen. I don't really know if that's true. Seems like a weird thing. Seems a little sus. Also, it doesn't even count. What Blue did doesn't count as harassment. At least specifically with the AFK drop streaming, which is the only thing I've seen.
Was the big thing. So technically what you have on your screen right now is the problem.
This isn't her Twitch page. This is a streamable.
Well, I mean, you're showing her Twitch page, but technically this right here.
So I mean, that's
That's what we're doing right now, bro.
Actually,
And then the best part is that both Hunt and Lenar Lee, I don't know how to say that, the other guy, laugh about it and say, that's exactly what we're doing now. So they're admitting to harassing someone and then showing their Twitch page while being objective and not biased.
So it is possible that it was someone else in
Is he saying that he thinks that somebody from Janae's community reported him on through the Throne and Liberty stream?
yeah. So basically,
Yes, that's exactly what he just said. I'm glad you've caught up. That is what he said. And we have to take his word for it. And also, is this the actual VOD of her telling people to harass Blue? If so, that's big. I didn't ever realize that before because I wasn't really actively watching the video. I was just listening to it at work. So, I mean, that's huge. And then if he, told them about this and they've seen this, and he got unbanned, the appeal succeeded. I think he was still banned for 6 days or something.
so Blue had someone look up why he got banned. They came out and said it was based on your TNL Throne and Liberty VOD. Yes, Trevor, I'll be able to send you the whole thing. Sorry. Yes,
That is a stretch. That is a real stretch, honestly.
So let me recap that again.
And Hunt's now saying that that's a stretch. Objectively and unbiased with facts and evidence, saying that is a stretch.
And then Blue said, actually, my sources tell me I got banned through a TNL VOD review where he was berating or being rude to someone in like the VOD review. But he doesn't believe that's the real reason why he got banned. He thinks that someone potentially in Janae's chat was just going around reporting every VOD he had.
Right. And Soda,
that's
to be
what he
clear,
is implying.
Soda, to be clear, that is the part that we're talking about a stretch. We already established that Janai has reported comments from the VOD, right, or has reported comments from Blue, or tried to use her community to do so. We've established that, and that was something they already discussed and resolved. But to then make
No, I don't think that was discussed or resolved. That wasn't discussed or resolved. I think Blue's still very upset about it because she literally took money away from him.
What do you think about Blue's idea that is a conspiracy and it was like a potential mass reporting? Like, could you believe something like that? Or should we just not believe in that at all?
I feel like if it was a mass reporting, there'd be a lot of evidence of.
Okay, again, not a Twitch streamer. I don't know if there would be a lot of evidence. Again, no one's showing any evidence in this video, neither Choice nor Blue, nor Hunter or the other guy.
Of that specifically, and I don't think there is an abundance of evidence of that. I think I understand where Blue's coming from, and it's a logical take for him, but it's not a realistic take.
What the fuck did you just say? What does that mean? It's a logical leap for him to make, but not a realistic one. So it's logically not realistic. We got to find the definition of logical.
I understand where Blue's coming from, and it's a logical take for him, but it's not a realistic take.
Okay. It's a logical take, but not a realistic take. Logical thinking uses reason and evidence to draw conclusions, while realistically thinking considers practical constraints and acknowledges limitations. So, he logically, with evidence and reason, this is with evidence, therefore making it correct, one would assume, unless there's evidence he doesn't know about, but that's why it's logically assumed. But it's not a realistic assumption because he's not considering constraints and acknowledging limitations. I don't know if he knows what he's saying. I really don't. I really don't think he knows what he's talking about at all. There's 6 hours of this. 6 hours of this. I keep looking over there. It's up here. 6 hours of objective, unbiased, subtext, explaining situation. And I literally wrote in my notes right here. Where are they? I had to stop. I had to stop this. And I feel like I've got enough evidence to set out what I proved. That they're hypocrites. I totally have done that already. I've proven that they're hypocrites. They're not objective. They're totally biased. And frankly, they're just really not that intelligent. There's a couple more things I want to go over. I did write down. There's a couple things later in the video that makes it even, just a couple more examples to prove a point. And then at the very end, I want to talk about another thing. Because they talk about the money and like that Choice talks about ad money and how CPM's different. I don't have any knowledge on that whatsoever. I don't make any money from any video I've ever made. I have no clue. Zero. No clue. And then they talk about a bunch of GFBS, like Blue saying like, hey, I think she's using you. Choice is like, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. They're going to talk about that for a bit. And then obviously Hunter and the other guy are going to say objective and unbiased things, of course, for 6 hours.
Not because I'm married or any of that shit. I fucking watch porn. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Not a single person will ever believe you when you say that. Not a single person, even if it's true.
to content. You know what I mean? If I want to go see that shit, I'll go to Pornhub. I won't edge on fucking Twitch. That's weird. This is the way that involuntary is like celibate or whatever.
Involuntary celibate, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not.
So the reason that it's looked at
you're not having
negative.
sex by choice.
The reason that it's looked at as negative isn't just like it's like the involuntary virgin. It's also because they get radicalized into red pill ideology, and it's like
Okay.
whatever, that's all well and good, but it's hard oddball behavior. This is like most men who've ever look. I'm about to say some shit that's gonna be crazy, but it's not because I dislike Blue. It's because it's how I honestly feel about it. This has nothing to do with actually Blue. This kind of take is fucking the type of take that somebody who's never smelled a pussy before.
That's just a fucked up thing to say. I mean, let's be honest. He was objective and unbiased in that situation. Of course he's a warrior. Of course he's a warrior. I'm surprised he's not a striker, honestly.
The reason why this whole entire conversation came up is you said
I don't
something
mean
like,
that. I don't
think
know.
that choice likes
I don't
me,
care.
Or you said that.
I'm a ninja. Look at me.
No, someone in your
Fucking weeb over here.
First of all, there's no way that you would ever get a date.
So, hold on. Let this play out. No. You gotta
Then I laugh about it, objectively and unbiasedly.
let this part play out because go back like 3 seconds, and I just want you to watch Blue here. I just want you to watch. Can I zoom in on this
child's
fucking
going
screen? I can't.
crazy
Can you
right
just
now.
zoom in on
That's
him real
powerful.
quick? Could you just zoom in on his camera? I don't know if you can do that on that shit, but try. Fucking Christ! Try it. Hit one of those buttons, man. Hit one of those like frame buttons. I don't know. I saw his eyes. I suddenly see all the whites in his eyes. I just want to just go back. Just go back to.
Stop this, we have to find
sad.
a solution. Like, and again, like you can't do stuff like this because it damages my
First of
career,
all-
it damages your career, etc. Go ahead.
First of all, there's no way that you would ever get a date.
Oh, now blink into a look.
Then I laugh about it again. What cunts?
Body language wise, that was like.
I mean, dude, he
What?
is staring a fucking.
What?
He is boring a hole through the fucking screen with his eyes right now, dude. Oh, okay, yeah.
What
So
I
my
heard
chat
that, it was like
knows.
ooh.
Yes, funny.
One, let this part play out, and I'm gonna tell you what should have happened here. Let's go back. Go.
Like, and again, like you can't do stuff like this because it damages
First
my
of
career,
all-
it damages your career, etc. Go ahead.
First of all, there's no way that you would ever get a date. Second of all, you can't associate me in.
That was a
you can't
crazy.
Go chat. Okay, give me 1 second, guys.
Okay. Let
we're back to that one.
this part play through because I have some stuff I want to say, but we need to observe, guys, closely observe the body language and the dialogue.
All right, go ahead.
First of all, there's no way that you would ever get a date. Second of all, you can't associate me in.
That was a
you can't
crazy. I hope that was a fucking joke. I went on a date last week. Okay. I really hope that was a joke.
Oh
Sincerely.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was just a huge joke. Yeah, just that wasn't one for the chat.
Well, now you're
you know?
being sarcastic.
Pause.
Ooh.
Pause here. Okay, so
What should have happened?
all he had to do was laugh it off.
Yes, when someone insults you, just laugh it off. Remember the golden rule. Other people are allowed to treat you like fucking shit. And you just have to treat them how you want to be treated. But there's... What should have happened is Blue should have just hung up the call right there and walked away like the winner. Right? Because clearly, Troy said it. If you listen to it, he is being sarcastic when he said, oh yeah, it's definitely a joke. Listen to how he says it. Like this, like fucking Hunter here said, listen to the dialogue.
Pause.
Ooh.
That was a fucking joke. I went on a date last week. Okay. I really hope that was a joke.
Oh
Sincerely.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was just.
Definitely. Oh yeah, that was a joke. I don't know. I don't believe him. I do believe that Blue's right. He's being sarcastic. I would have dropped it completely, and I would never talk to this man ever again. I would just go fuck yourself, straight up, 100%. How dare you?
Huge joke. Yeah, just that was rolling for the chat.
Well, now you're
you know?
being sarcastic.
Pause.
Ooh.
Pause here. Okay, so first, all he had to do was laugh it off. That was it.
Yeah.
It would have been a funny comment,
It wasn't funny. It was not a funny comment. It was hurtful.
and it would have just been.
But they're being objective and unbiased, so maybe my bias of having been alone in my life, maybe that's why I think that this actually hurt Blue. And he's upset by it, which he has every right to be. Apparently not, though.
Been him laughing it off, and it would have been done.
Would it have, though, been? I don't think so. Even if he laughed it off, I think after the fact, later, it would have bugged him. So it's better that he said something now, because he wouldn't have had the opportunity to say something later. So I think he made the right decision and said, whoa, how dare you? Because he's right. How dare Choice? I thought Choice was supposed to be like this big, cool, like friendly BDO streamer. Everyone likes Choice. I hear good things about Choice. And then he comes on here and he says something like that. And everyone's just like, oh, he was just joking by being a complete and total fucking asshole. No, I definitively do not like Choice now. I think this pretty much sums everything up right here.
If I
Oh yeah, Choice also made another tier list right after Blue took his down. I feel like making a bunch of tier lists. I kind of want to, just to see, just to be a dick. Just to put a bunch of, I'll title them like non-Choice approved BDO PvE tier list.
Just because you have a bad take does not make you a bad person. It does not make you a bad creator. I have seen bad creators. I've seen negative content creators. I think Blue uses
Yeah, I'm watching a negative content creator right now.
this platform to promote a lot of people in this in the category, and I think he takes umbrage or offense to the fact that Jinai did some AFK streaming, and he is not letting it
Yeah, as I feel like a lot of people have, right? That's the whole point of this.
go, which to me is a little bit hypocritical, because if the shoe were on the other foot, he made a mistake at this.
Nope, that's not how being hypocritical works. Hypocritical means behaving in a way that contradicts what one claims to believe or feel, or acting in a way that is inconsistent with one's stated beliefs. It implies a lack of sincerity and authenticity. Essentially, a person is considered hypocritical when their actions or words don't align.
So yeah, no hate towards either creator. I saw a lot of both.
No hate towards either creator. You literally gonna say that. At the very end of all of this, you're gonna be like, no hate towards anybody, buddy. Yep. All those bad things I said about you, I was just joking, bro. It's just a joke. You should just laugh it off.
Positive and negative comments in the stream. That was not the nature of the stream. The nature of this stream between myself and Lunar was, this was a stream for us, for fun, because we were talking about it anyway. Drama happens.
Yeah.
People talk about drama in this community. I think what me and Lunar have decided to do is, going forward, we're just going to talk about it together. We're going to do it live. And when
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun doing this. So.
Yeah,
I think
same,
you guys had a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, I'm sure you would think it's a lot of fun. This was fun for me. I'm gonna give my closing thoughts. I mean, you know how much. Fuck. Everyone knows what I think on this situation. I've explained it. And I just want people to realize that these dudes are fucking, like, the things that they say don't line up with how they actually feel. I just think they're being disingenuous, hypocritical, and cunty, and is completely unnecessary. Who knows? I might be wrong. I probably am. It's life. Peace out. Like and subscribe. And bias refers to the predisposition. Fuck me.